All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. And greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. Those of you men and women out there that have changed your lives towards righteousness, that you may earn your salvation in these last wicked and evil days. Shalom unto you. All right, I'm your brother Shaquat from Las Vegas Church. And I had a couple articles, and there was also a video I want to play that was today, and basically to show you in current events how prophecy is passing. Okay, and one of the prophecies that's coming to pass in these current events is World War III. Okay, we see all of these pandemics and all of these other things, but let's not forget that the big climax to this thing is World War III and the deliverance of the children of Israel out of captivity and into the kingdom of heaven. All right. So without further ado, I'll go into this. I'll try to make it quick and easy and straight to the point, but we'll see how it goes. Lord willing, it's edifying. All right. So starting with the article from RT.com, which was posted. This was a while back. Yes, September the 27th. It says China warns U.S. using human rights as pretext for more anti-Russia sanctions as Beijing publicly backs Moscow in new standoff. And the point I want to make of this is Russia and Beijing, or Moscow and Beijing, okay, which is China and and Russia banding together, okay. Let's see if we can get into this a little bit. I'm not going to read too much of it. I'll read just a bit. It says, this is by Brian McDonald. It says, China has said it strongly opposes new sanctions against senior Russian officials proposed by lawmakers in Washington, arguing that the U.S. is guilty of double standards when it comes to violations of international law. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has accused U.S. lawmakers of using human rights as a pretext for imposing new anti-Russia measures that undermine recent negotiations between the Kremlin and Washington. Okay. It says, speaking on Monday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said that China is strongly against Washington applying unilateral sanctions under the pretext of protecting human rights, which also stating that the U.S. itself often violates the provisions of the UN Charter and acts contrary to generally accepted forms of international law. Okay, that's goes back into that. Oops, didn't want to do that. That one, this one. Let's see if we can go on. It says, find another good part. Yep, the move to back Moscow and publicly call out Washington comes only days after the Kremlin's own press secretary labeled the new proposed measures a betrayal of progress made between the two nations during negotiations earlier this year. And for you that don't understand, the prophecy says that Russia is gonna shoot missiles on America in so many words. Now I'll get the script, and the other scripts, and it's also talking about China. And this one here, from 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, starting at the first verse, it says, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon in Asia." Okay, in modern day Babylon is the United States. Okay, woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Okay, that's talking about those areas. Okay, that Middle East area. All right. These are the countries that everything is coming together in, and it's gonna the final world's war is gonna be fought in that region. Okay, when you continue to read down, it's talking about missiles. Okay, which is the new way that this war will be fought. Okay, so with that, let's move on to this, because this is another play right there. Who's having issues with these same nations? Syria, which is north of Palestine and Israel. Well, we know that the Amalekites, or the how should I say it? There's Edomites in the land of Israel right now. Okay, it says Israeli Prime Minister, Iran has crossed nuclear red lines. Okay, nuclear red lines. All right. And when was this from? The same day on the 27th. Okay. It says Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, okay, on Monday said Iran has crossed all nuclear red lines and vowed to stop the country from acquiring nuclear weapons, even if it means Israel must act alone. Okay, they don't want Iran having those nuclear weapons. Okay, because they're right in range of them. Okay, and plus they only want certain places to have it. All right, Iran has voiced, in recent history, Iran has voiced its negative opinions about the state of Israel. Okay, and that's why this comes into play here, because I'll read it starting at 3, 2 Ezra 16:3. A sword is sent upon you, who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Okay, let me jump down. 7. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a mighty archer? And those arrows shot by a mighty archer are nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay. Okay. Verse, I'm going to keep jumping. Yep. 9. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Okay, I'm going to jump down to 13 now. It says, and all this chapter is good, okay? But I'm trying to jump around a bit for time and interest's sake. Great read. You should read it, okay? The 13th verse, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Okay, intercontinental. Okay, so Russia has the capability and China has the capability to come over and hit America. Okay, Iran has a capability to hit Israel over there. Israel, they have capabilities. They may even have longer range, okay, missiles. But then South Korea, we saw. I mean, North Korea, we saw having try to perfect their range and their capability of their missiles. Okay, but they're shooting over, lobbing them over into the Pacific Ocean, over Japan, and threatening people, so on and so forth. So we can see this hotbed coming into view. Okay, where the prophecy is starting to round out into full frame. Okay, it's like a picture's blurred, and now it's starting to come into focus where you can see exactly what's happening. Okay, as it says in the book of I believe it's 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. It says we look through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Okay. Anyway, it says Iran's nuclear weapons program is at a critical point. All red lines have been crossed, Bennett said in his first speech to the United Nations UN General Assembly, according to Reuters. Iran's nuclear program has hit a watershed moment, and so has our tolerance. Okay, it's funny how intolerant people have become in these last days. Okay, with these sovereign and free nations and different nations. Anyway, it says words do not stop centrifuges from spinning, Bennett said, vowing that Israel will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. Okay, they do not want that nuclear weapon to come to full power. Come on now. Matter of fact, that's the video, but I don't want to get struck, so I'm not going to read that. They keep making me trying to read it, so what I'll do is open it up a tad. See if I can get rid of it. There we go. All right. Well, Let me go to this. Ezekiel, the 38th chapter now. Okay, we'll hold it at the first verse. And then we'll come back to this. All right. Yep. As a furious France plots its revenge for America's treachery on its subs deal, will it take the nuclear option of quitting NATO? Okay, and this also goes into that same um, um, concoction or algorithm, if you will, where all these different entities are coming to form up one major event. Okay, where it says the beast shall hate the whore. Okay, who's the beast? These NATO and EU nations. All right. So let me continue. Go back to Ezekiel 38. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Prophesy against that landmass, the ancient landmass that is now today known as Russia. Okay, and those surrounding areas. It says, and say, "Thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." And we've watched how, throughout modern history, how Russia was that big bear, that tough, nation, with the Soviet Union and everything. When it was they got soft in the years of Gorbachev, I believe, and now they're coming back to that superpower under Putin again. Okay, he says, "And I will put into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all sorts of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Okay, so they said, bring all your army forth. And when you go, matter of fact, I have a video, bear with me. All right, so we'll watch this NATO video here. You'll see it.
You know, there is something kind of weird that's taking place in Turkey. President Erdogan seems to be spending money left and right on weapons. He's offering billions to get stealth fighters, Patriot missiles from the United States. That's not going so well, but he's already got some. He's also buying a second Russian missile system. Second, despite objections, of course, from NATO. According to Erdogan, nobody has the right to tell him or to tell Turkey what they can buy or from whom they can buy it.
Okay, and you see that this is happening because as we go back. Okay, so this is all happening because the Most High is bringing all of this situation to a head. And if I were to read up, let me see. Yeah, I'll start up. Yep, beautiful. So I'll start at the top. It says Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat," which is Yahweh Shaphat, the land of the Most High Yahweh's judgment. Okay, and Jehoshaphat, okay, Jeho is short for Yahweh, and Shaphat is for judgment. Okay, it says, "And will plead with them, or decide, or judge." Okay, is a word I believe that's in there, "with them for for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Okay, and people are in the land of Israel. People, they've scattered our people all over the world. Okay, and this is that time that we were gonna bring again, the subject of our captivity to come up out of captivity. Okay, and they have cast. Well, that's not the part I want. So let's jump back down to verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men," and that's what Russia has done. Okay, we read that. It said, "I will turn you back into that superpower, that warlike superpower," and he's turning these other nations into warlike powers also. Okay, it says, "Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." And you can see that everybody's trying to bring their armies to that Middle Eastern area, okay, where this third world war is going to happen. That's that area of the world where of the Fertile Crescent, okay, which is that Middle East area again, okay. That's the land that we're gonna go back into our holy land over there, and we're gonna fertilize, if you will, that whole region and make it back plush and not like the desert, the vast desert it is known to be in most areas over there today, and make it back luscious. Okay, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And what that's doing is giving these younger nations, what they've done is these weaker nations that don't have the high nuclear capabilities, they're now buying up the nuclear capabilities to fight against the whore. And also Israel and different countries in the region that back them, in case NATO wants to jump in. But NATO is getting fed up as well with the things that America's doing, with the different sanctions and unilateral sanctions and whatnot. So if they make deals with this other country, hey, we got to deal with this other country, but you're gonna put taxes on us too. We got a deal. So what's going on here? So everybody's upset with the way America's operating right now. Okay. And so it says, and what it was with those weaker countries, they were more agricultural countries, and now they're becoming warrior-like countries in World War III. All right. It said, assemble yourselves. Yeah, let me read that. Let the weak say, I am strong. Yeah, strong with these military weapons. Okay, it says that's why places like Turkey, I'm going to get back to Ezekiel 38, but places like Turkey are buying up a bunch of weapons from both sides of the war. I'll get back into the video as well. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather together yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Yeah, to the angels even come down and get involved. Okay, the angels, the Lord's army, is going to be involved in World War III, and Yahushua is going to lead that war. Okay, and be the victor according to prophecy. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay, everybody's going to get done. Okay, so let me go back into this.
Mike Maloof, former Pentagon official, is good enough to join us now to talk about this kind of strange thing. I guess I just have to ask, what is Erdogan up to?
Well, he's trying to assert himself and his country's independence. He has his own agenda, and he doesn't want to be told as a leader of a sovereign country what to do, and he doesn't feel that NATO countries have a right to interfere in his national interest.
I almost thought you were going to say, when I asked you the first question, well, that's just Erdogan being Erdogan, because he is a differentiator, really, when we compare him to other leaders. But let me ask you this question. As it's been explained to me, Russian military weapons are not compatible with NATO military weapons. So if he ends up with a Patriot system and a Soviet defense system, how the hell are those things going to work together?
Well, he wouldn't have bought the S-4.
Well, what's going on, he's protecting himself from both sides. Okay, he's getting in bed with both sides. He hasn't fully chosen which side he's going to connect with in this war, because both sides are trying to make deals. But America's deal is not as good as Russia's deal. They made the American deal first. Well, he's going to explain it.
100, and now the follow-on system, if the United States was a little more forthcoming with the Patriots. There's a rule in NATO that you don't use outside equipment from non-NATO countries.
Do you think he cares about what NATO's rules are?
Not anymore, no, because he sees that he's been vilified, he's been sanctioned by the U.S. And also, but he has one leverage, and on Europe especially, and that's why they're not going to really come banging on him. And that is, he can let millions of Syrian refugees back into Europe. That's his leverage.
You see these different countries that are now coming up in these conversations that are lending your mind to World War III. The countries involved. You heard Syria, you heard China, you've heard Israel, you've heard America. Okay, You've heard Turkey, Russia, of course. All right. Let's keep going in this video, another 2 minutes or so.
And that's what I see why he is being able to get away with playing both sides, basically.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that question. I'm so glad you mentioned that he's able to play the United States and NATO, and while playing the Russians at the same time.
Well, he's going to be.
Should the Russians care? Hey, you want to buy our stuff? Great, here it is. As long as it's cash money, right?
Well, that's correct, and Erdogan's going to be meeting with President Putin next week, so and it's going to be fine. Notwithstanding their differences, that he's a NATO member, and the fact that they have differences over Syria.
It's almost a hot and cold relationship between Erdogan and Putin, isn't it? I mean, there's times when they seem like these two guys are going to work together, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, we don't.
Well, you have two strong personalities that happen to get along. It's the same reason why Trump wanted to belong to that little exclusive club. He likes power, he likes authority, and strong men, and both of them are very, very strong in their way. But one is not going to trip over the other and upset. I mean, Erdogan learned his lesson back in 2015.
Here's what I'm confused about. He already has NATO weapons. Erdogan has NATO weapons. He's had them forever.
Yeah.
Sure, he didn't get this new stealth Patriot
And he
deal.
didn't get F-35 either.
And he's asking for those. That's $1.9 billion, apparently.
He's not going to get them.
I was going to ask. He's not going to get them now?
No.
By saying yes to the Russians, that's it? NATO's going to close the door on him?
He's been sanctioned. And because he has that S-400 system, he's always threatening to deploy it. And now he's talking about a second one. I think he's using it as a club against the United States, against any sanctions.
Okay, so we'll end it there, and then we'll come back into prophecy where it says, when it said, I will turn thee back, talking about Russia, it's talking about Gog and Magog, and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, all the weaponry, all the different missiles, all the different jets, okay, all the new technology, okay, that they're going to use in war, all right? Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, okay? So all the roundabout countries that Russia's going to deal with, he's going to protect them, but he's also going to provide them with weapons, okay? It says Persia, which is Iran. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, okay, says, let me go back a little bit. Yep. Turkey, or Gomer, and all his bands, the house of Togomar, and the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that's why Russia's getting involved, and it seems as if, like he was alluding to in this article, or this message in this news, feed here, saying that Putin and Erdogan, or whatever his name is, from the prime minister of Turkey, was saying that they have this love-hate relationship. Well, they're going to get that together. They're going to figure that out. And so will NATO. NATO's going to choose a side, and it's not going to be with America. Okay? Because they're going to destroy America. All right, so let me go into Revelation. Okay, I'll go straight to the point. Matter of fact, I'll start at 15, Revelation 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, and that whore is America. The dragon is America, and that beast is that the whore rideth upon is NATO and the EU nations, okay? And that's when you go into the 7 heads and the 10 horns, so on and so forth. But that's for another video for another time. This is talking about that this is coming around. This is a shorter lesson anyway. It says, saw where the whore sitteth are people and multitudes and nations and tongues, different nations, right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Is going to hate America, because they're empowered by America in its position in the earth, and their strong military. Okay, that's why NATO was like, hey, what are y'all doing? You're not a NATO nation. That's not a NATO nation that you're buying over there from Russia. Okay, America, you was okay with America. It was like, but they got sanctions, man. What am I supposed to do? Right? It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. How are they going to burn her with fire? With those missiles, man, thermonuclear missiles. Okay? For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree in their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So this World War III is going to happen. Okay, this is prophecy. You see it round and about. It's going to happen. Okay, and we're starting to really get a good, clear view of how the world is beginning to hate America, how the world is beginning to have a great divide, and those nations like Turkey, like Iran, and so on and so forth are really starting to cleave unto Russia. And Russia is helping them out, making deals and trades and so on and so forth, and pointing the finger over there at those Israelis and at America. Okay? So understand, these things are coming to pass, man. Okay? So I just want to, something that came up today in a video, and I just want to add a couple articles that I was kind of wavering out there that I hadn't done, and I just figured why not put it into this. So Lord willing, this was edifying, man. World War III is going to happen. Okay? You're seeing weapons get moved around. These weak countries are growing bigger in might and everything. You're seeing these NATO EU nations looking at America like, what's going on? Looking at other countries like, hey man, they're doing crazy sanctions on me, for doing deals. So I gotta get it where I can, man. Okay? But they're over there doing weird ass deals. Okay? Iran and Israel is still in their beefs. Okay, and the countries that they're connected to, they don't want them to grow too great in power. Okay, so that's why I said NATO is furious with Turkey because they buying up weapons. Because they're right in that hotbed to where if NATO loses that position in the earth to Russia, hey, there's no stopping them. Okay, so except for the Lord, which goes into that in the book of Revelation also. Like I said, another lesson for another day. So Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect. Until the next one, Shalom.